Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Player Zone YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Premier League predictions here for an extended Match Week 25 predictions. We've got a catch-up game for Liverpool. We've got a Friday evening kickoff here in the Premier League as well, and a Monday evening kickoff. So a lot of football to be excited about this weekend, starting midweek here with a Wednesday night kickoff. So I'll get into that one now, and then we'll go through the weekend's action. A lot to be excited about. Coming back to our prediction points from 2 weeks ago now, before the FA Cup ties. We came in on 154 points, added 6 more. Another really poor weekend for us, so on 160 of our prediction points so far this season. After 24 match weeks, a little bit behind where we want to be, aiming for 250 this season. If you're wondering how the point system works, it's 3 points correct scoreline, 1 point for correct result predicted, and obviously 0 points for neither. Looking for a strong double-digit week this weekend. And if you're going along with me, let me know your predictions in the comments section down below. With that being said, guys, let's get straight now into our Premier League predictions. Alrighty, our first game is a big one, the Merseyside derby. It's kicking off tonight, so hopefully this video's out in time for that game here. Obviously, the catch-up fixture from that game that got snowed off and abandoned for conditions a few weeks ago. It's Everton and Liverpool. Obviously, Everton totally changed now under David Moyes. 3 wins in a row in the Premier League. Obviously, come off the back of a disappointing 2-0 loss on the weekend to Andoni Iraola's Bournemouth in the FA Cup. But in terms of league form, they are on fire. Goals are going in for fun at the moment. I think it's 10 in the last 5 in all competitions. For me, this game here, look, it's a game that's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. Liverpool are really, really strong away from home. I haven't lost away from home this season. So Everton can cause problems. It's a free hit, basically, for them. So looking to the more dangerous creators and attackers in Dye, alongside Lyncham in the wide areas, those wingers, those wide spaces against Trent Alexander-Arnold, as well as Robertson in the wide spaces. They looked vulnerable at times this season. That's where Everton can get at them. So look to those two to try and be the catalyst for this David Moyes attacking style of football he's playing at Everton this season. In terms of Liverpool, they need to bounce back. A disappointing FA Cup exit at Plymouth. A lot of players missing for that game there. Hopefully they're back for this one here. Obviously unbeaten away from home this season. 9 wins and 3 draws in those 12 away games. So they've been cooking at that side of the park. It is a quick turnaround. They're going to have to go again later in the week. So they'll try and win the game early and manage it from then on in. But I think it's going to be a very, very difficult game. Obviously, you know about that 2-0 loss last season at a very similar time. That sort of brought their title charge to an end. So a massive game for them to get back for what they did last season. For me, it's the usual customer to stand up. You know, Van Dijk, Mo Salah, Gravenberch, McAllister. But look to the others as well. Cody Gakpo, I think Dominic Szoboszlai, those 2 players in particular, against a very solid Everton defence, with Salah often being quiet and kept out of games. Those 2 have to stand up, chance created for themselves, for others, scoring the odd goal here and there to get Liverpool on the front foot. They will be very, very important in this game, and they're here to look to those 2 to stand out in this one. How I see it going, I've got a Liverpool win, but only just. I think it's going to be really back and forth. Everton will be up for a midweek clash under the lights. Going to be a massive game. I've got Liverpool winning it just, though. 2-1 here for me. Everton will score first, but Liverpool come back and get all 3 points. Our next game takes us to the South Coast as Brighton take on Chelsea. Massive game for both these 2 clubs here. Brighton have lost the last 2 Premier League games in a row, including that 7-0 humiliation at the hands of Nottingham Forest. It means they've conceded 10 goals in their last 5 games, and obviously injuries have played a massive part of that. Their midfield has been torn to pieces by injury, but they do come off the back of a 2-1 win versus Chelsea on the weekend in the FA Cup. So I'll take that confidence into this game here. For me, pretty simple. Just be competitive in the centre of the park. Don't let Palmer, Enzo, Caicedo run rings around you. So I'm looking to Matt O'Reilly. I'm looking to Jack Hinshelwood as well to stand up in this game here. Make much more of an effort. They were walked past by Nottingham Forest. If they can be a bit more solid in this game here, they could have a way to compete and fight against this Chelsea side here. And they desperately need a win because they haven't been good at home this season. And they'll need another win to get back on track and keep this European hope alive this year. For Chelsea, been poor, very poor in recent weeks, especially away from home. Last 4 Premier League games away from home have all been losses. They need this one to stay afloat. No clean sheet in the last 5 games. It's been defensive problems that have been their Achilles heel. They obviously won 2-1 versus West Ham last time out in the Premier League, but defending has got to be much more improved. So Tosin Adarabioyo, Colwell are going to have to be very, very good at the heart of the defence to keep out Danny Welbeck and João Pedro, because you know, if looking at Brighton, defensive, they're a bit all over the place themselves, but going forward, they're really, really dangerous, and they can hit at you in different waves of attack. So look to those 2 to be important players. And also look to that midfield duo. Enzo and Caicedo need to be really, really solid and protect that back four, because they've been vulnerable. So you need to go, and as much as you go attack, be good defensively and protect that back four and keep the ball at arm's length. And I think that's really important for Chelsea. That core of the side in the middle and at the heart of the defence have to be much more improved. How do I see this game going? I think Chelsea do get back on track. I've got a 3-1 win here away from home. I just think that lack of depth in the Brighton midfield and competitiveness means Cole Palmer, Enzo and Caicedo run rings around them and they get a pretty easy win here for me. Leicester and Arsenal is the next game here from the King Power. Leicester continue their downward spiral this season. Their only win coming in Spurs in their last 5 games. They've only scored 3 goals in that time. They are just struggling all over the park. No clean sheet now in 20 games. They'll continue to count it. They continue to really, really struggle. They conceded 21 goals at home this season. It's been a awful, awful run of things. And for me, the only way I can see it getting better is being better defensively. James Justin, the like at the back there. And most importantly, Wout-faced and Vestergaard, they've been deplorable this season. You have to be better, more competitive, touch tight. Looks like Kai Havertz missed the rest of the season, so Arsenal will be without a central figure up top. You got to be touch tight whoever plays there, whether it be Trossard, whether they try and potentially push Erdegaard up the pitch as a false 9. Whatever happens, you've got to be much better in the middle of the park and defending there. So look to those two to have massive games here if Leicester want to be competitive. For Arsenal, they won 3 Premier League games in their last 5 games. Obviously, a disappointing loss to Newcastle coming in the Carabao Cup. But all in all, they've been more improved in recent weeks. There's been ups and downs, but all in all, that 5-1 win last night at Man City, that's a confidence booster. They've played better attacking football. Obviously, won their last 6 games out of 6 versus Leicester City as well. 11 goals in the last 5 games. It's also moving in the right direction. And I think in a week that's been a bit chaotic, I'm looking at the youngsters yet again. Lewis Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri as those players, those sparks that will go and give you entertaining, attacking, relentless football. I think those will be the key players in this game here. Leicester are vulnerable. Those 2 players play with confidence and freedom. I think they'll tear this game apart. Gone with an Arsenal 3-0 win here away from home. They continue their great attacking football, and Leicester continue to struggle at home. We're at Villa Park for Aston Villa and Ipswich in our next game here. Villa in a bit of a rough spot at the current point in time, struggling though Premier League win in their last 3 games. They did pick up a 2-1 win in the Cup versus Tottenham on the weekend though, and hopefully that can continue to push them forward and get them out of this little rut they're in this current point in time. No clean sheet in the last 6 games, only 7 goals scored in their last 5 games. At both ends of the park they've struggled, and out of those 7 goals, only 4 came in a game versus Celtic in the Champions League. So it's really been a mixed bag for Aston Villa. A lot of new faces at the club. Hopefully that brings some confidence, some fresh air, some energy to this side because they're just lacking it at the current point in time. And for me, then, look at this game here. It has to be Morgan Rogers to lead the side yet again. Every game they've either won or dominated, Morgan Rogers has been the guy. He was in the weekend versus Tottenham. Looked him to be the guy yet again here in this game as well. And I guess if the game just slows down, they're struggling, you've got the depth bench, the bench depth there. Asensio, Rashford, Daniel Marlen potentially all coming off the bench to insert energy, inject pace into the game and potentially help Aston Villa just kick through and win games of football because they've seen to slow their pace a lot. The intensity, the ball movement is just not there that it was last season. So look to those type of bench players to insert energy and potentially get Aston Villa over the line in this game here. Against the Ipswich side is equally really struggling. 4 consecutive Premier League losses, 3 points away from safety. No win in their last 5 Premier League games. It's struggling all over the park, to be honest, but no clean sheet in the last 5 games. That's where they'll have to build from. Looking at Morsey, look at Kajust, protecting that back 4. They've really struggled in that area of the park a lot this season. I often talk about Premier League battles being won in the centre of the park. They often don't win midfield battles, and against Aston Villa side that can play slower and can be a bit more tired and fatigued, that's the area of the park they have to win that battle. If Ipswich want anything out of this game, a draw, a point, or potentially even a win, they've got to win that midfield battle. So Kajust and Morsey have to be much better to protect that back 4, back 5 to Ipswich. Otherwise, Aston Villa will run riot, and I see that happening. I've got Aston Villa 3-0 win here. I still think Ipswich have the tools to match up to Aston Villa and their quality with and without the ball. So Aston Villa 3-0 win, Morgan Rogers leading the way yet again. We're in London for our next game as Fulham take on Nottingham Forest. Fulham obviously coming off the fantastic away win at Newcastle, 2-1. That late turnaround there was fantastic. But you continue to see what Fulham's all about because they're hit and miss. They're 4 draws and 1 loss in the last 5 Premier League home games that have gone on a decent away record. So they're sitting 9th. That's probably where they deserve to be because they're so up and down. They're so hard to read as well. And a nice win in the FA Cup as well. You just don't know what you're going to expect with this Fulham side. When I look at this game, look at this side, I look at that left-hand channel. Alex Iwobi and Anthony Robertson, probably their 2 best players this season. One of the greatest creators in the side in Alex Iwobi, and Anthony Robertson with his pace, defensive coverage, but also ability to deliver balls into the box. Those 2 there are going to be important in any game, but especially versus Nottingham Forest, you play with that same energy and intensity which those 2 can match. I look to those 2 to be the catalyst to drive Fulham forward, but also be able to cover off defensively with that energy, with that intensity to stop that Nottingham Forest counter-attack. So that left-hand channel is so important for Fulham this game here. And also that midfield, the centre-back duo, of Anderson and Bassey to protect and shut down the likes of Chris Wood and Morgan Gibbs-White. It was so dangerous in the centre of the park. Those who need to be on form, they've been a little bit off, I feel like, this season, and it showed. Fulham conceded some weak goals and goals they probably wish they'd never had. So massive job for those 2 centre-halves. For Forest, a ridiculous 7-0 win versus Brighton last time out in the Premier League. Shootout win versus Exeter in the FA Cup. It's 5 wins in the last 7 games. They're the second best away team in the Premier League. 7 wins from 12. It's all been happening for them this season. They're in a great run of form. They're playing with confidence. This game here, there's different areas of the park I'd probably want to look at. Firstly, the centre of the park. Danilo and Anderson were fantastic versus Brighton. Look to them yet again to win that midfield battle. Look to them to outwork and show more quality than the Fulham duo. If they do that, that goes a long way for them winning this game of football. But I think simply put, those wing-backs or full-backs, Aina and Nico Williams, could tear this game apart. They are the catalyst for that attacking style of football. They're the catalyst for that counter-attacking style. They inject pace into the side. They overlap to allow Alanga and Co space to cut inside and opportunity to shoot. They deliver great balls in the box for Chris Wood. I think those 2 are probably one of the most informed fullback pairings in the world right now, and they could single-handedly tear this game apart for me. I think they're the game changer in this one here. There's been no draws between these 2 sides in the last 12 games, and I don't see that stat coming to an end. I've got Nottingham Forest win, 2-1 away from home. They'll have to tough it out early, but their quality will show, and their attacking, counter-attacking style of football will come to show towards the back end of the game here. The next game is one of the big ones from the weekend. Man City host Newcastle from the Etihad. 2 teams pushing for Champions League football. Starting with City, a real interesting few days for them. They obviously lose 5-1 to Arsenal last time out in the Premier League. They go just scrape over the line in the FA Cup versus Leyton Orient, and then threw away another lead to Real Madrid in the Champions League playoff game. So a real mixed bag for Pep Guardiola and his side. A rough few months after I thought they turned it around. They've gone and thrown it away once more. And once again, the defensive problem, the ability to run out games is not there. The legs look gone from this side. And it's going to be a really bad matchup versus Newcastle if they run out of legs yet again. Because we know how energetic that Newcastle side is. For me, it's going to have to be a massive game from defenders in particular. No clean sheet in the last 6 matches. So Ake and Diaz have to really bet their best. Tip-top best. I'm talking 2 years ago best to shut down one of the most informed strikers in the world in Alexander Isak. If he gets off the chain and these Man City defenders are not touched hard, they're not switched on, it could be a long day for City. So massive for those who are at the heart of the centre-back position. And also an important role to be played in that number 6 role. We often talk about it without Rodri being there. Kovacic, or is it going to be John Stones after his great performance with Real Madrid? A massive job to protect that back four, but also deal with, I guess, those greyhounds almost, so that really energetic, dog-like fighting midfield that Newcastle have. You know, Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton, and Tonali there are just fantastic. And this Man City number 6, whether it be Kovacic or John Stones, will be one out defending these back four. So massive job for one of those in there to stop Newcastle midfield from running right in this game here. Looking at Newcastle, another great run was interrupted with another 2-1 loss at home. Another game dropped at home, really disappointing for the side. They'll want to bounce back. There's been 10 goals in the last 5 games, so attacking football has been on show, but better consistency defensive is going to be so important. I said it earlier, I say it most weeks, this game could be won individually by that midfield trio. As I said, Tonali, Joelinton, and Bruno Guimaraes' energy, their intensity, their willingness to fight and scrap and win the ball back might be too much for this Man City side that has tired legs, that can't run out 90 minutes of football. And if Newcastle have half a sniff, I can see them winning it late because they've got that energy in the side, in the centre of the park. So those 3 there, they could be the game changers in this one here for me. I think what an entertaining game up for grabs. I've got Newcastle nicking away from home. 3 goals to 2. Man City, as I said, just not good enough currently at running out games I don't trust them for 90 minutes, and as such, Newcastle get the win for me. The next game takes us back to the South Coast as Southampton takes on Bournemouth. The Saints, they got a massive win last time out, 2-1 away at Ipswich. But again, the season has been a rough run. It was 13 games that I win prior to that. The side has improved in terms of their performances, but results haven't really followed, and there seems to be a massive gap between them and the rest of the league. You look at Bournemouth, they do come off that 2-0 loss to Liverpool, but they miss some massive chances, and they took it to the best team in the Premier League. So continue to give ticks to this Bournemouth side under Andoni Iraola. It's 3 wins, a draw, and a loss in the last 5 Premier League games. 13 goals scored in those 5 games. The attacking skill is on display despite not having a number 9 in this side here. For me, in this game, Justin Kluivert, one player of the month the last amount in the Premier League, has been all over teams in the Premier League, so the scoring, assisting, running right, great runs in midfield, chance creation for the wingers and the forwards. He's been the man in form, so look to him to tear apart this game here. And Cook, Christie and Adams as those ball winners and those ball players, they could swing this game totally in Bournemouth's favour with their ability to win ball and keep the ball. And that's why I don't give Southampton any sort of a sniff in this game here. A Bournemouth 4-0 win away from home. They've got the talent, they've got the attacking players, and they're going to have a great day out in Southampton. We have an all-London matchup in our next game as West Ham host Brentford. Two sides needing a result to bounce back. West Ham coming off that 2-1 loss to Chelsea means only 1 win in their last 5 Premier League games. No clean sheet in 7 games. Defensively, just not good enough. It's been a symbol of their season. And looking at this game here against another vulnerable side in Brentford, I just look single-handedly to the one man that can change a game. That is Jared Bowen. He has been the guy from this season. When they missed him, they struggled. He came back. He scored versus Chelsea. They're going to need him yet again here in this game. And look to Mohamed Kudus to hopefully help facilitate Jared Bowen up top, playing in that sort of number 10 role there and working as a combination. Those two will be so important for West Ham at home here. Looking at Brentford, they come off a 2-0 loss at home versus Spurs. It's been a real tough run for them going forward in particular. 4 goals in their last 5 games. Only 2 wins away from home already this season. We know about that poor record on the road. They've really struggled, and I can't see them changing it here. If they are going to change it, it's going to be built on defensive acumen. Collins and Van den Berg at the back have to be much better. Brentford concede way too many weak goals and too many goals away from home. Those two at the heart of the defence have to be solid, have to not allow chances, whether it be for Ferguson or Bowen or Kudus. If you linger off too much or give them too much space, they will convert, they will score. And I just think all in all, the back line this season has been very poor for Brentford. So those two in particular, the heart of the defence, have to be much improved in this game here. With that being said, the result, I'm going to back in West Ham at home, and they've got the informed player in Jared Bowen. They've got the star players, and they've got probably the better manager in Graham Potter. And I think they get over the line in this one here with a 2-1 win here for me in between these battles of these two out-of-form sides. Our next game is a battle of 2 in-form clubs. Crystal Palace host Everton. Palace obviously coming off that fantastic 2-0 win at Old Trafford where they just played that game to a T. Great counter-attacking football, a great setup once more for Oliver Glasner's side, and they get the result yet again. It's now 9 goals in their last 5 games. They win the FA Cup tie in between these 2 Premier League games as well. So all things are going great at the moment for Crystal Palace. For me, pretty simple who the key players are going to be. Jean-Philippe Mateta in the goals deluxe in recent weeks, including a double at Old Trafford. He'll be the guy you're going to be clinical on the break, clinical in front of goal, and get Crystal Palace on the front foot early. And then also a massive role for that midfield duo. Lerma and Hughes in the centre of the park played fantastic at Old Trafford. They've been fantastic in this change of form which Crystal Palace have had, and are the building blocks for that counter-pressing and counter-attacking style of football, which Oliver Glasner has reintroduced into this Palace side. So look to those two yet again to have very, very important roles in this game here. Look at Everton, obviously know about that 4-0 win last time out versus Leicester. They'll obviously play earlier in the week in this midweek tie, so it's going to be tough to make this turnaround happen. They have scored 8 goals in their last 3 Premier League games. You know those 3 wins have come in a row. It's going to be tough back after Liverpool, so I think you look to those players that can insert energy, can insert fight and heart into the team, and I think those players are like the likes of Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Pickford, and I think really importantly is James Garner. Can he back it up in the centre of the park and match the energy of Crystal Palace? If he can, Everton go a long way to win this game of football. Those attackers get more opportunities on the break. They get more chances in possession of the football. And all of a sudden, Everton claw their way into this game here. Crystal Palace will probably have more of the possession. They're not used to playing that style of football. Everton could nick the game playing this counter-attacking style if the likes of Garner, the 2 centre-halves, and Pickford and Gore are at their best. I don't see that happening though. It's very hard to back up, especially for a club like Everton that's not used to multiple games in a week. As such, to see Palace winning it, 2-0 here for me. They get the massive win and they keep their great run going this season. Right, Anfield for our penultimate game as Liverpool take on Wolves. As once more, Liverpool's second game of the week. Coming off the back of this midweek tie versus Everton, they'll be very tired off that game as well. And it's a true test for this Liverpool side. Can they back it up with the same energy and intensity to execute Arne Slot's game plan in this game versus a very hungry Wolves side? For me, obviously, you know how good they've been at home this season. Only one loss at home at Anfield this season versus Nottingham Forest, who are equally great side in themselves here. And I think with likely rotation and energy hard to come by with a lot of games in such a short span of time, I'm looking to the midfield rotation players. So Jones, Elliott, they will likely come into the side or come off the bench early on. They're going to be the difference makers here. Can they insert energy? Can they insert quality? Can they insert that ticker needed to get over the line in this game here? Because Wolves will come at Liverpool. They want to start fast and put the side under pressure. But if those players can do their job and fulfill their job as those rotational type players and keep Liverpool afloat, they can easily get the result here in this one. Looking at Wolves, they picked up a very, very important win versus Aston Villa last time out. 2-0 away from at home, sorry. It ends that awful run of losses the side had. And we know it because they've only scored 5 goals in their last 5 games. So the final third has been the problem. Incisiveness, goal-scoring ability, and spark. And the answer to that is Mateus Cunha. He has scored 5 goals and had 1 assist in his last 8 games. He's the big man up top, 12 big chance created this season, the best for the Wolves side. He will be central to all things Wolves in this game here. Against a weakened, tired Liverpool side, he could win this game for the Wolves side. And I think he needs to have as many touches of the football as possible and many opportunities in the box as he possibly can. And then Wolves have a way into this game, have a way to find a result. Do I see that happening? No. I think Liverpool do grind it out. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be not convincing, but they will get the win here for me. A 2-0 Liverpool win at Anfield. Wolves will try their best, but they won't have enough to beat this Liverpool side. Our final game is the battle of the 2 out-of-form sides. Tottenham host Manchester United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Spurs coming off the back of that 2-0 win versus Brentford last time out in the Premier League. But since then, 2 losses in both domestic cups, meaning they're out of both competitions, and only the Europa League remains for the side. It's been a tough old 4 months for Ange Postecoglou, ravaged by injuries. A few potentially coming back. Udogie, Maddison look most likely. That could boost the side, in particular against a game versus Manchester United, another big game. You want the big name players there. And talking about big names, it has to be for me, Dejan Kulusevski as the key player for Spurs. He has been their guy this season. Assists and goals have come easy for him. He stood up in those big games. He's made the big actions, the big movements, the big passes, the big goals count this season. And he's going to have to do it yet again versus Manchester United. I think he has been head and shoulders their best player. And he's probably head and shoulders the best player between the two sides. Out of all 40-odd players that have played for both these teams this season, he's been the best. So if he can have his fingerprints and his imprint all over this game, Tottenham win this game. Pretty simple, simply put. And also, massive game for Matisse Tell on the flank. With his pace and his goal-scoring flair and ability, he could tear this game apart for Tottenham and potentially get the better of Manchester United, especially with how high those wing-backs get. So look to him to have an impact on one of the flanks there. Look at United, an awful 2-0 loss to Palace last time out. They did get over the line versus Leicester in the FA Cup, though, so that's a positive for United. But again, it's a mixed bag of results in the last 5 games. It's a symbol of their season. 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw in the last 5 Premier League games. That is Manchester United. Inconsistent, consistently inconsistent. Whatever you want to put it. It's been all over the place. In this game here, I like the look of those attacking players. Bruno Fernandes and Amad Diallo, obviously. But they need more support. And in recent weeks, Alejandro Garnacho has been more involved. Pass to assist. Crosses that have ended up in goals. So look to him to be the key player in this game here for Manchester United to support Bruno Fernandes, who has a lot of the load put on his back, and also massive games for those full-backs, those wing-backs. Dalot, Mazraoui, Patrick Dorgu, whoever's starting or involved have to be at their best, especially against a Tottenham side that plays with a lot of pace and you can exploit those wing-backs, get high up the pitch. So massive game for Garnacho. 1.4 average shots on target per game. He has been the leader for United in that fashion. Look to him to support Bruno Fernandes and then look to those wing-backs to be secure defensively if United want to get the result. Who do I see winning? I've got Tottenham doing it at home. They have a great history of beating Manchester United at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and they continue that here. A 2-1 win for me for Spurs at home versus Manchester United. With that being said, ladies and gents, that brings this prediction video to an end. I hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry for enduring. I'm a little bit sick, so it probably sounds a bit dodgy, the audio. But I appreciate you once again joining in and tuning in for this video here. If you enjoyed the video, smash a like on it. Subscribe to the Players channel for more videos like these. Press that post notification bell so you know we upload more videos, podcasts, reaction content here on the channel. Let me know your thoughts of my predictions and your own predictions in the comment section down below. And make sure, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the weekend and the midweek Premier League football action. And I'll see you guys in the video very, very soon. Till next time, guys. See you later.